So we use the word phlebologist, but really should we use the word phlebologist? Should we say vein specialist, a venous expert? And I want you to kind of think about that as I'm going through how should it be trained. The short answer, of course, how should a modern phlebologist be trained is they should be trained well. But let's go through some other ideas about how they should be trained. So some of the issues with training someone in phlebology or to be a vein expert is really that there's heterogeneity. There's no one vein, there's no one disease state, there's no one core field of expertise that we bring to the table. It comes from multiple specialties. So you have to accept that to begin with, that there's heterogeneity and it's not a true residency, so to speak, or a one disease state that you're training, you're working on. There's different vein types, and I divide them into small, medium, and large, and these are obviously the different types of veins. So when you're going to train somebody, you have to train them in all of these different vein types to manage it. We've heard a lot about the various vein types over the course of today. Then you want to talk with patients who are symptomatic, who want cosmetic issues. You have to train somebody to manage acute and chronic DVT, which we've heard about, pelvic insufficiency, which we heard about, and we may also want to get into wounds when the phlebologist should be trained, so to speak. There's various specialty scenarios also. So not every specialty, I kind of divide this up into specialties that do procedures, those that don't do procedures, those that treat blood vessels, and those that don't treat blood vessels. So your best intersection is obviously those who do procedures already and those who already treat blood vessels. And that would be your vascular surgeons, interventional radiologists, interventional cardiologists. Now you have people who do procedures but don't treat blood vessels, such as general surgeons, OBGYN, dermatologic surgeons in Europe, maybe even anesthesiologists. Your best group is this group. They do procedures, they treat blood vessels. You want to treat them how to manage vein disease, great. This is your second best group, and perhaps this is your second best group. Those who don't really do many procedures, but do treat blood vessels or diseases of the blood vessels. Cardiologists that are non-interventional, vascular medical specialists, or angiologists. And obviously the hardest group to teach about phlebology would be those who don't do procedures and don't treat blood vessels. And these are all different people in various countries throughout the world that are treating vein disease, internal medicine, GPs, and dermatologists. So when you think about training people and how do you train them, you have to find out where they come from and what skill sets they bring to the table before they even consider their training. So in terms of knowledge base, I think no matter where they come from, everybody must know all aspects of vein disease when they're going to call themselves a vein specialist, vein expert, or a phlebotomist. They need to know about all aspects of vein treatment as well. So they need to know about how to manage acute PE. Even if they're not going to do it, they still need to know what are all the various options that we have to treat veins. And how are they going to get this? They're going to get this during their training. But more importantly, most of them are going to get it in some post-training environment. There's no true phlebology fellowship around. There's a few of them, but not all that many. And obviously coming to meetings like this, reading journals, textbooks, and consider some type of boards, which we'll get into later on, as to how they're going to get their knowledge base up to a certain level to become a, quote, phlebologist. Then how are they going to learn their technical skills? They obviously, as I said before, they have to know all the options, but they may not perform all the procedures, and that's okay. They have to know when to refer patients to have procedures done if they don't do it themselves. So all phlebologists need to know everything about every procedure. They need to have knowledge about all vein disease, but I don't think they all have got to do every single procedure, but they need to know when and to whom they should refer those procedures they don't. And how are they going to get it? Well, obviously training, post-training, during maybe having people proctor them or going to see other people do procedures, or again, some type of fellowship. There are really 4 existing models around. There's the European College of Phlebology, the Australia-Asian College, American College of Phlebology, International Union of Phlebology. There are others, and this article here kind of goes through the consensus document of the International Union of Phlebology about what a training curriculum should consist of for people who want to specialize in phlebology. The common theme, though, when you're talking about training is There's heterogeneity and there's diversity. And you need to accept that when you're planning on training people. You can't say, oh, we can't train someone who comes from this field or that field. You have to accept that there's multiple fields coming in and converging on the management of vein disease. So the core content that should be in a knowledge base and a curriculum, it's got to be based on evidence-based care, obviously, and that's, you're getting information today about that, and in other meetings. You have to standardize the training, and there needs to be, I think, some level of accreditation that allows people to document that they have some minimum baseline of knowledge and core competency. So we'll go through each one of these. American College of Phobology began in 1985. It's made of multi-specialty members. It includes all the people I showed you on that grid. It is now been recognized by the American Medical Association as a particular specialty, and they support education. They do have fellowships, and they obviously support research. A offshoot of that is the American Board of Venous and Lymphatic Medicine. And this exam was first given in 2008. I actually was one of the people that wrote the questions for that first exam, and they made us take the exam, and that's the only reason I passed it, because I helped to write the questions. But no, I'm only kidding. There are 700 diplomats that have taken the board, but it is not recognized yet by the American Board of Medical Specialties, and it may never wind up being recognized by that. But it does say that people who do pass this at least demonstrate some core knowledge and commitment to the specialty of phobology. The Australasian College of Phobology was founded a little later. They do have scholarships and fellowships. There's no formal certification examination yet, and phobology is not recognized by the Australian Medical Council yet. So they're a little further down the line. The European College of Phobology, many of you may know about, just founded recently in 2012. Its attempt is to unify people treating vein disease throughout the European countries. It is just recently been pivotal in having the European Union of Medical Specialists recognize phobology as a joint committee member, so there's giving some credibility to the European College of Phobology. It does have future goals, and our moderator here, Case Wittens, was the lead author in Phobology 2013 of discussing what is the future of phobology in Europe. And they do recommend evidence-based guidelines, making vein care more homogeneous in the European community, but again, realizing that different countries and different specialties manage vein disease. The idea is to help to influence governments and third-party payers to help fund vein care, understanding through evidence-based medicine, and that it is a good thing to help people with vein disease, and to hopefully develop a European certificate in phobology that covers the core content similar to the American Board of Venous and Lymphatic Medicine. So in conclusion, I can't tell you 100% how phobologists should be trained, but I think the future of training is to need to recognize and embrace the multi-specialty aspect of this, the multidisciplinary aspect of this specialty, and not ignore it, and not say we're not going to have people trained from various specialties. Plan for this when we're writing guidelines of care, plan for when we're creating certification exams, and it really does, at that point, hold all phobologists, or vein specialists, as I like to say, to the same standards, no matter where they started from, what specialty they entered phobology in, but by having some type of certification, it will get everybody to a certain level where we're all going to speak the same language, no matter where we started from. So the ultimate goal really is to get true phobology training programs. Obviously, have phobology recognized American Board of Surgery and the Australian Medical Council and the UEMS as a real specialty. The increasing prevalence of vein disease is going to help attain these goals. Vein disease is not going away in any of our lifetimes. Nobody is going to find a cure for vein disease, as I said. So we still need to find a way of training people so that we get unified vein care. Thank you very much.